like robotic? Like
No, you're good.
Okay, look. Check this out. Matthew 24:37 to 39. But as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, it's gonna be the same.
We're in the days of Noah. We are, because everything that's coming. I mean, there's so many signs. And then remember how we would say when we talk about war gaming and prep and everything. There's like, we just think there's gonna be things we don't even. There's gonna be things that nobody's seen. There's gonna be nothing that we could prepare for. Things are gonna happen. So it's a modern time that we don't even know how modern it is coming out.
Casey, at this point in the game, legit, like, I'm confused. I mean, no. Let me take that back. I know. Look, today on Amazon, I was buying like these. It's like it's not gloves. What is it? Like the cut resistant, heat resistant.
Oh yeah, that material. I can't think of what it is. The sleeves.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't ask me why, but I feel like I'm gonna need them for where we're headed. I feel like I'm gonna need, if I gotta fight somebody with a knife in the apocalypse with drones and UAPs and UFOs. I feel like I'm gonna need these cut resistant sleeves. All right.
I mean, you never know.
Let's get into it.
So there's so things like, I mean, and let me just go ahead and say this. Like, I think our opinion and our feelings and our view on things, we're always kind of evolving and changing, and things happen that will change, evolve, and with all of this. There are certain, and these are my opinions, none of us truly concrete know. There's very, very few that know, because there's people high up. They're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this is. We need answers. And you're like, how do they not even know? So there's very few that know.
Wait, hold on. Bam. For y'all who watch this video, I am so jealous right now. Look, no, you don't. Y'all don't understand. I am a UFO nut. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. All you name.
Yeah, I watched that all the time growing up.
All of them. I've watched them 1,000 times, and I have spent my life hoping. I don't know. I'm jealous of you, Casey. No, I really am.
Let's go ahead. Look, and I was always, when it came to what is labeled UFO.
Wait, hold on, Casey. Hold on. Fam, look, Casey, did you see something?
Maybe.
All right, let's go. All right. All right.
Okay, so I because my disclaimer of all this is, when I was my whole life, we grew up in the 80s and 90s watching Unsolved Mysteries, all those UFO sightings back then, backcountry roads. You would see that, and so I think even in my adult life, I've always been kind of skeptical. You know what I thought when people said I saw a UFO? I kind of always thought that something military, that the majority public and even majority of military government isn't privy to, like the area 51, all that. And I thought this is some type of aircraft type thing that they're messing with and they're doing, and kind of like we landed on the moon. But anyways, I thought it was stuff like that. I really did. I wasn't not like different things with like drones, Casey, and different things.
Casey, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
he does, guys. He does it all the time. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, we got stuff to talk about. Seriously, we have stuff to talk about. But how did it move? Did it move? Did it move like something like that? Did it move?
It moved like, I'm going to get in details, guys. It moved.
Don't give them too much just yet. No, go ahead.
You're asking questions like nothing we've ever seen in this world.
Really?
Undescribable. It's the details are
I didn't move. I didn't move. Seriously.
I try to have a description about that, and Huckleberry and I were talking so much, and he said the best way he could describe it, because there was so much with the color and movement. I was like, there's no description of this world of something I could compare it to. And so the best way he described it is if you took a laser pointer and you were like messing with a cat and you do it on the walls, you can make so many different directions, and it's smooth but so quick. That's how it was.
I'm so jealous. All right, let's get into this, man.
So I do want to say that UFOs, I do not believe that is connected. I do not believe that is the same entity of what drones are. Okay. Or these spy balloons, or the orbs. I think that they are all their own thing. And I have just my opinion. I have my opinion of the origin of where they come from or what.
Casey. I'm sorry. I promise I won't cut you off again.
Y'all write that down. What time is it?
The light that you tried to explain to me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain it for me? Can you explain it to him? The light.
Do I need to give the whole spiel when it happened?
No. Where was the light? The light that you saw, where was it?
The light was, because it was a full moon. I have to say that in comparison. It was a full moon. Early in the morning, so it was super dark. The light, I would, if I had to describe it as something in this earth, because it wasn't anything we could say that like, oh, it was comparable to this. It was brighter than the moon, but it wasn't a projecting light. It wasn't a light like an LED headlights or a flashlight. It did not project. It was contained in what we had described and said it was this dome. And it was like a crystally blue. Bluish crystal white blue color. It was so bright.
I'm so jealous, Casey.
I'm so mad, guys. I really never in my life was like, I'm a UFO chaser. I'm gonna see a UFO. I told you how my feeling was. I was very skeptical. I thought it was something military that they were kind of playing around with. It just didn't. That's just not where I was with that stuff. And there was always like, oh my gosh, unsolved mysteries. I'm gonna skip this one. All these kooks were chasing these UFOs all the time. I'm just being honest. I was.
I'm one of the kooks, but man, I'm so jealous. Okay, all right. We're gonna pick this back up, but let's talk about what we got to talk about, man. What are we tapping into?
Okay, let's start with the whole thing because it's on everyone. It's in it. Gosh knows everybody's talking about it. And I did not want to do a video talking about any of this crap because before this incident happened, we'll get into. Because, it's kind of everywhere. It's kind of everywhere about the drones and it's on and on. And I had my opinion. I really didn't feel a need to express my stuff about it. The drones, I will say, my opinion from the get-go, and I'll say why from the get-go, that is us. That is our government, military, however you want to label it. That is us. They are man-made. They are of this earth, and people know what they are, and they're doing something. Okay. Now, speaking of drones, I think it was November 3rd. Is the first week in November, Josh.
Yeah.
Huckleberry got up with you. Huckleberry got up with you on the phone. He was out back. He was in the garden. And
I was like, whatever.
We're Southern. I was in the kitchen, which goes right out into our backyard on the deck, and he was out in the other end of the yard in the garden. So like 3 nights. Different nights within a week's period of time, we had heard something at night that sounded like what we call little crop dusters. It kind of sounded like between that and a leaf blower, but quiet, a little bit quieter. Okay. And I was just like, oh, what they got crop dusters out here or something? What is that about? Or personal planes, something like that. So it was one day, I think it was November 3rd. I'll have to pull up the pictures. Huckleberry was outside and I heard him holler towards me. He's like, that's a drone. And I was like, okay, because we've seen personal drones in an area of Florida. It's actually called Zephyr Hills, Florida. We've seen people do personal drones and skydiving, and they do all that weird stuff over there. But it didn't. So I went out, and it was this big white drone, and because he did some pictures, and it was doing a grid pattern. It was going like straight, and it would go away for a while, but you could still hear it, and it would come back.
That's what they say.
It was doing a grid all the way through. So I was like, and my initial thing, and I was like, it was kind of that irritated, pissed off, paranoid, like, because my immediate thing is absolutely the government. They're doing this. They're checking out, they're surveilling, getting images of these deep rural areas. 100%, you couldn't have told me different. That's what it was. And it was during the day. And we had seen them a couple different times within about a 10-day period. Not a lot, and it was always like one. But it wasn't like the little drones you see where people fly them and they kind of have like a X shape and stuff like that. It was huge. It was white. And, I thought this is weird. I don't like it. They're looking at these rural areas. They're kind of getting and I still feel like things is like that.
Yes.
And so he was the first one that had saw it. And he had taken pictures. He was getting up with you. He was outside. He was like, I'm telling. Can I tap in for a second?
Can I tap in for a second?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so fam, y'all hear what she said? Y'all hear what she's saying, right? Legit, she sent me these pictures on my phone, and I'm working, doing this, this is all before the whole drone thing. So I'm like,
Yeah.
but they show me these pictures, and legit, like it's some drones. This was before all of this, November.
I think it was November 3rd. And because Huckleberry was taking pictures, he's like, I'm sending this to Josh,
Yeah.
And I was mad. I was like, they're out here looking. They know what we have. They know where everybody's at. They could see every bit of our garden, our animals. I was like, our water system, everything that we have that you kind of keep.
Yep.
Hey, don't tell all your business. That's what I thought all that was.
Yeah, I was like, man.
And they were flying in a grid pattern. Like it was going down and just making swipes. And we would go away and come here, and we would like it's coming back through, and it would just do. And so that was the first incident. And I was like, it's because we're rural areas. They're surveying these areas. They're kind of seeing who's what, where they're at, what they got.
Yeah, and I can verify. They sent me the photos when there wasn't no talk about drones anywhere, and I was like, all right.
And it was white, and it was big. It kind of looked like
it's different.
The only reason I can kind of describe it is it kind of looked like, you remember them it was a lot bigger than that though, but the shape of it was kind of like, you remember them styrofoam white gliders used to get?
Yeah.
It was kind of shaped like that, but it was like the size probably of a small car.
Yeah, it was bigger. Yeah.
It was I was like, this isn't a personal drone. That is so much money. That's gotta be government, military, something, because it was so big. I was like, that's not.
Yeah.
You know how much high-tech drones are that are still small.
Yeah.
And I was like, that can't be a personal drone.
No.
And, but we kind of kept, took note of that. We talked to you and stuff like that. And we watched, and, then we were kind of, every time we were out, we're like, oh, is that a plane, a helicopter, or is there a drone over here?
It's like, y'all all right, though. Yeah, whatever. Now look at us. Now
right. my neck started looking at the sky all the time.
Yeah.
So that happened. And that's why I think that's separate. That is man-made. You can tell it's man-made, high-end, high money. That's why I think it's government, military, something like that. Yeah. And that happened. So the first week, I really think it was November 3rd, first week in November that happened. Before all this kind of exploded. And, we just didn't. It just, I don't know. It wasn't something I was going overly bored about. It was something I was taking note, and more so being aware of what was around, not just because when you're out like this and we talk about, prepping and being aware of your surroundings and stuff like that, it's more ground level when we think about doing things like that.
Yes.
And it kind of gave Huckleberry and I a different perspective, like we have to watch from up above too. And that's just kind of how we kind of, it irritated me more than anything, because I was like, we're not going to escape. No matter how rural you are, you're not going to escape them finding out stuff. That's how I kind of felt about it.
Yes. Man, look, we always said it's going to come from all angles. It's going to come from all different directions. You won't have time to think.
Right.
So okay. So we've got all these drone incursions. We've got all this. Okay, so I'm a UFO alien nut, and for me, what is happening right now will always be interdimensional beings. Call it Nephilim, call it fallen angels, call it whatever you want to call it. For me, that's just me.
Yeah, that's where I am with the UFO orb type thing. I think that's what that is. Yeah. Drones, that is not from the same origin to me. I know everything's going on at the same time right now, but they're not coming from the same source.
Yes. And just for me, seriously, fam, my problem is that I always talk about my weaknesses. And one of them right now is the simple fact that even though I know what I believe and what I'm thinking, the spin that the government, the spin that people are putting on this, it almost has me confused and just tired of hearing about the whole situation at this point.
Oh, yeah. That's why I didn't want to do anything about it, because it was just kind of one of those. It's everywhere, and you get tired of hearing it. It's overwhelming. It's like there is a lot of it where it's like, this is out of my hands, but let's be aware.
Yes.
Of what's going on.
Because for me, that video that I did, Casey, for me, I'm telling you, whenever I see something that kind of intrigues me and is crazy, I always have to set out like rules for me. And I said, when they can't stop it, when they start to deny it, when they start to come up with other plausible ideas of what this could be, then I really need to focus in on what I believe it is, and that's what they've done. So you mean to tell me? Let's talk about, Casey, some of the things that they've said. It is ridiculous. A nuke. There's a random nuke just floating around New Jersey or New York somewhere,
just up and down the coast, and then they've extended it down. And look, we've talked about this. This is just my opinion. This is my opinion. I think that people are saying, I want answers. I'm going to shoot these jokers out of the sky. We're not safe. I need to know. I'm fed up. What is it? What is it? The heat was coming down too much on them about everything.
Yes.
My personal opinion is it became of, oh, they're sniffing out this stuff. But something, what was people the biggest like scare? Something like a nuke or something radioactive, right? And they're sniffing this out. So then and this is just my opinion, and I could be completely wrong, and it'll come out, that prove me wrong, and that's fine too. Is my thing is I felt like that was the excuse or reason they gave to pacify people because the masses were getting, and the general population was like, I'm done with this. You tell me what's going on. I'm gonna start taking these jokers out. And I think that then if they say it like that, like, hey, they're sniffing this out because there could be something, people are going to be like, oh, well, this is for our safety. Don't they always use that? The safety. This is for your own good and safety and protection. And then people accept it and are like, okay, I'm going to leave that alone because it's going to keep us safe, or it's going to find something before. To me, that was just, that is just an excuse to pacify the public right now.
It's incompetency. Any of their answers that they're giving the public, it leads to a governmental incompetency, which is why I've always said that if interdimensional beings, UAPs, UFOs ever do show up, the reason the government will not tell us that there is something else is because they cannot protect us from it.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot be the protector of the United States with all of the taxes we've been giving them for years.
Right.
And every answer that they have given us has just backed that idea up. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Now it's nukes. So
they're sniffing out for nukes. They're looking for, but also if you look at some, there's things out there. Please go look. Don't listen to mainstream and just hear one video and run with it. Do some research. But there are military people who've worked in that type of stuff that says this isn't how we sniff them out. They don't use things like this. This is not the technology we use. It doesn't add up. I think there's a Joe Rogan one. He talks to a guy and he was like, that's not how this works. And the guy used to work in that. Go look it up, Joe Rogan stuff. And there's several of them. He's interviewing people and talks about that. And not just there. There's several people, I said I've spoken with somebody who's in the Coast Guard. It's a friend of ours, her son's in the Coast Guard. And he's just saying he's doing in that area, East Coast, where he's stationed, and he's like, things just aren't making sense. No. And it feels like a bunch of BS, and we all know it is, but we just are following orders and playing along with the song and dance.
Casey, they have come out. Fam, look, whoever watches this video, they've come out. The people who are supposed to protect, they've come out and said that there is an Iranian mothership off the coast. Casey, that
would never fly. If it is, and they were like, we know that this is it, we have proof this is it, then why haven't they taken that out? That isn't. And that's what gets me. I said it when all the illness and different things have been going on all these years. I find it very insulting. I'm like, don't insult me with such a load of crap that I'm going to believe that.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of the masses believe it.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people I just want an answer. And okay, that's what they said it is. And now, I can go about, my la la land and everything's fine.
That's the zombie horde. You know how we talk about the zombies during shift? That is the zombie horde. Oh, that's okay. Now it makes sense. I understand. I saw a channel that has 2.3 million subscribers. And it said, guys, it's a nuke. They're hunting down a nuke in New Jersey, and this is what it is. And I'm like, bro, really?
First, they would be, if they really thought it was that, they would be able to find it way quicker than this.
And for my people who are saying, go ahead.
There's technology that they would have been able to sniff that. And it's going on for how long now?
Yeah.
We would already been gone. What are we talking about?
Look, for the people who say, oh, Josh, it's not a nuke. It was a, what is it, G80 something medical pen.
I don't know.
Even that. which everyone is saying is not enough radioactive material to really create a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Fam, yo, I'm telling you, don't.
No, I think the whole drone thing. It's the U.S. It's the military. It's the government. However you want to label it, it is man-made. They know what it is. They're in charge of that.
Yeah. Okay. So, and for those who say it's us with these super fancy drones. When do we ever look? I've watched a dozen channels that are like military type channels. They say this is not how we run operations. We don't do this around the public. Night after night after night after night. We do not. They've got places for this, like in the desert, Area 51,
Right.
DARPA, all those different places. It is not in a busy metropolitan area where everyone can see it.
And it's not just concentrated this one area. They're seeing it places that aren't coastal.
It's global.
Okay, they're seeing it places that global. They're seeing other countries. They're seeing it places that are not near military bases.
Yep.
They're seeing all these different, and people are seeing them day and night. We saw that one we saw was during the day.
Oh, let's go back to that, Casey. So let's go back to that. What time was it when you guys saw it? Ballpark.
Probably around lunchtime, which probably around maybe 1 o'clock or so. It seems like between 12 and 1.
Gotcha. And you just happened to.
Why? We heard it. We heard, and like we
hear things.
Well, it kind of sounded like a cross between a small crop duster plane, is what we call it.
No, not the man-made one. The other one.
Oh, you're talking about that. Yeah, let's go ahead and go do that one.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, I got to give some backstory. So we have been traveling. We had traveled. We had been out of town. I talked about that in my video yesterday. And we were headed home. We were not in this state. I will say we were on the coast. And we were about 15 miles from a military base. Not at the base, but that's about, so you know. We were heading home. This was December 15th. We were leaving early because we had a long drive. We were coming back here. We were coming back home. And we left about 5 a.m. It was dark. It was the full moon on the 14th. So the moon was out. It was super bright. So we were getting in this wooded area. We were about to get right on this this bridge.
You're gonna be so mad at me. You're gonna be so mad at me. Hey fam, look, listen, fam. If she slips up and she tells me any details that don't line up as to what she's saying, when she told me about this, I will let you know.
He's done. He's gonna block me on everything. So we're in the car, and it's me and Huckleberry and two of our kiddos, and we're coming home. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're in this wooded area on this road, about to get onto this big bridge that goes over water, and we're heading home. So about 5:14, it's dark, full moon's up. I just happened to look out my passenger window because the moon was right up there. We're about to get right on the bridge. And I know, guys, you're going to be skeptical. I know, because I would be too. I'd be tearing me apart right now if I was sitting on the other end of this. Seriously, I would. And I mean, I was just like, without thinking, there wasn't a moment to say, well, what is that? It wasn't. As soon as I saw it, I said, that's a UFO.
Come on.
And Huckleberry said, she said it 3 times. She said it 3 times, and I saw it.
Really?
And so he had the sunroof. He saw it there. I saw it before, and it was. I know, because Josh, how many times we talked about it? And me and Huckleberry and our daughter saw it. She was in the car, and all of us were just like mesmerized. This whole thing, but there's, as much as I can describe it, there is still so much there's nothing on this earth that I can say in comparison to.
Yeah.
So I saw this, it looked like a dome. A huge dome that had this incredibly bright, crystal bluish white light in it. And it wasn't flashing like we look at lights and we say, oh, the light's flashing. It was a pulsating. And the light did not project out away from it. It didn't look like, oh, I'm looking at a bright light. like a headlight or LEDs. It stayed. It was like it was so bright, but it was within this dome.
It's crazy.
This dome, and the benefit of us having that is it was a full moon, and that full moon was shining right there when we were about to get on the water.
It was bright
So
that night.
everything was kind of reflecting against that. That dome, and this is such the cliche. Oh my gosh, it's the if it was the 80s, I'd be on Unsolved Mysteries. Let's get it real. It really was. It was that dome. You could see it was sitting on I hate that cliche. It was sitting on a saucer. It was sitting on a metal. It was not chrome and shiny. It was like this dull, darkish gray saucer, like
Really?
a UFO. There was no doubt. There was no lights on the bottom, and there was no like that thing where you see pictures where it's like, oh, there's all these lights that go around the edge.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It was this metal saucer thing, and it was this dome, and it like I was so like as soon as I saw it, I was just like, that's a UFO. I was just, and I've never been a UFO person. I haven't. I've just been skeptical. There was no doubt. There was nothing else, and I didn't even have to look at it. Like as soon as I saw it. And Huckleberry said she saw it. She said it 3 times before I saw it. And he saw it out the sunroof part because he wouldn't have saw it the angle I was looking. Okay. And my daughter was sitting behind me in the back seat, and she saw it. And we were all so, I can't believe this is kind of real happening. There was, and we try to debunk it like could it have been anything else, or it just wasn't. And it moved. It did not move like a plane or a helicopter or a drone. It didn't move like anything we've seen on this earth. It was so smooth. It wasn't jerky. It was so smooth and fast. And that's why I was trying to talk to Huckleberry, and he said the best way I can describe it is if you had like a laser pointer. You ever had a laser pointer and done it on a wall like to a cat?
Yeah.
It did move like that. It went all these kind of different directions, and it kind of got lower and it went down this direction. And I had seen it before, like if the moon was up, I saw it before it got lined up underneath the moon is when I first saw it. We saw it moving, and he saw it more because the angle he was looking when it got underneath the moon. And it was just, and then it stayed kind of hovering for a minute.
Really?
And then it just, it's the fastest thing I've ever seen.
Wait, what? Yeah. Do it again with your head and everything. Do it again. What did it do?
It got about like it stayed stationary, and it went so fast. It was just like sideways.
Do the sound, Casey.
Yeah, it just went. It really did.
I'm so jealous.
Like there was things that you start thinking later. It didn't mess up the clocks or the radio. It didn't mess up anything like that. Yeah. And we were just kind of like, are we seeing this? Really, and I know, skeptical, please do tear it apart, because I really would have been skeptical if I was sitting on the other side listening to this. It was just the perfect timing of when we left and we saw it. And like I said, now I will say, we were about 15 miles from a military base.
Yeah.
And we were near the water.
Okay.
But there was no part of me that felt like, holy crap, we need to get away from this. I'm scared to death.
I asked you about that.
I didn't feel that. But I absolutely knew it. All of us, because remember, because Huckleberry talked to you, and he said that hair stood up on my body.
Yeah.
He gave me chills. The hair stood up on my body. All I felt was, this is not of this world. And that's probably the first time, if we, in our lifetime, especially if you're a faith, we've come across demonic things that we know this is that spiritual thing. This isn't across. I've come across that in people, and especially the things I've worked in before. I really felt like it wasn't of this world. There was nothing. Now, I know. So we're going to debunk it, and people, and that's fine. I want you to, because I want people to think about things and not just take things blindly.
Yeah.
Could it be some type of over-the-top, so advanced technology we've never heard of? The military, somebody has. Maybe it's Elon Musk's toys. I don't know. Could it be? Of course, it could be. I don't know.
Reverse engineering.
I just know I felt like Huckleberry felt like, because we all saw it, is this is not of this world. That's just how it felt. It looked, the light that it gave. I've never seen a light that color or the way it did.
Never seen a light before.
And we've never seen anything, not just in our personal life, but even like throughout videos and documentations and even all the stuff. We've never seen anything of this world that moves.
Man, I'm so jealous.
I know he was so jealous. Look, guys, he's lucky I didn't call him at 5. It was like 5:15 a.m. It'd been like 4 something his time, and call him and tell. I was like, man, and I kept looking up, and I kept telling Uncle Bear, I was like, man, what time is it? You think he's up yet? And we did. We talked to you on the way home.
Yeah, they did,
and
y'all.
Like, and I was really like, nobody's gonna believe this, and that's fine. And there's no point. There's nothing I have to gain from trying to convince anybody. But we're still kind of dumbfounded. I mean, even our daughter still says that sometimes. She's like, that is so like. That's a once in a lifetime thing. And it's nothing I really ever thought would ever happen. I was never like a UFO chaser or looking for those type of things. Now, I will say, as the video, we've been studying like different videos and stuff. It wasn't those orbs either. And the reason I say that, because it was very clearly that dome was on a piece of metal, like a flying, that cliche of a flying saucer.
And we're in crazy times. I'm not gonna lie to you. We really are.
I mean, now I will. So when talking about that, I feel like that is a spiritual something with that, and I'm not saying good spiritual, demonic. I'm just saying I felt like that was more of a. It was just not of this world.
Yeah, I got you.
Now could it be? Could. I very well could be. I'm just giving our experience.
Did it make any sound? Like some people say,
we didn't have our window down, but we did. I would say, because we were talking about it, because I was like, it wasn't too far above the treetop. It wasn't super far away. Like it was closer than that drone that we saw.
No buzzing. Some people say they feel static electricity.
Like we talked. I said I didn't, because immediately as soon as it was like gone, we were like registering. Oh my gosh, this really happened. And I was like, and I'm very in tune with my body thing. And I was like, I didn't feel any changes physically in my body. The radio lights, clock didn't change on our phone. The windows were up, but we didn't. It was really cold actually where we were. We didn't hear anything loud enough. Like even that drone, we could have heard. Like even if our window was up, we didn't hear anything. We didn't feel anything or feel weird, or sickness or confusion, or we didn't feel anything. I mean, the things that we felt were this. I cannot believe this is happening.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say that we felt anything.
That's wild.
It is like I'm like, why couldn't this have happened to Josh? Because I mean, he's y'all's biggest fan.
I'd be done. I'd be like, okay, I've seen everything I need to see. I know what time it is. I'm done. Oh man.
So I mean, I do, and there's times I do feel like there's something. It's that futuristic thing that they made the movies. There's going to be, and this is probably part of that, and the drones, everything. There's different things we don't know about. They've been putting up that they said there was going to be these space wars. Could it be something like that? I don't know.
You mentioned CERN and the Pope stuff.
Okay, yes, and I have to leave in there. With a lot of these things, we cannot forget Project Bluebeam.
Yeah. Seriously.
Because there's going to be that great deception. They're going to do these type of things. Now, could all this be part of that? Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I know there's things that they still can't explain when they're talking about. You're seeing on mainstream news and reporters and stuff, and they're like, we need explanations. I'm standing right here looking at this. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. Like the orbs and all these different things.
Yeah.
The UFO, the drones, I'm just like, they're man-made, but they're not saying what they're doing or who's really responsible. That's the only thing I feel about the drones.
Yeah. There's just so much they have absolutely no answers about. The sheriff said she saw 50 of them coming off the ocean.
Yeah.
50. So, I mean, it's just crazy.
It is crazy. Like, it seems so surreal that the UFO, that seems so, and it feels weird even saying it. It really does. It seems so surreal.
That's why I think this is soft disclosure, because it's becoming normal now. Look, okay. So when I said one of my weaknesses, I'm feeling confused, right?
Yeah.
So this thing is, this thing is moving fast. So at first, nobody knew what it was. Then people were just worried because drones were hovering over their houses. Then they started saying that the clocks and the radios, things were being
They were
messed with.
changing and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Then the government and local law enforcement were saying, we don't know, but it's not a threat. It's been evolving. So right now, this morning when I was scrolling through YouTube streets, the UFO thing was like, I saw comments where people were saying, the fact that we're okay with UFOs, but everything else is crazy is amazing. So like,
yeah,
UFO UAP thing it's almost normalized compared to there's a nuke in New Jersey, or you know what I'm saying? It's
well, what was that video? I hope some of y'all have seen it. If you haven't, I'll try to find it and put it on my community tab, or Josh will or something. There was this video. These people were taking this video, and I think there was a reporter, and people had them on their phones, and they were like, "What is that?" And it was kind of that more of an orb type thing, and a very obvious drone that had the red and green lights on the bottom. Again, the thing I saw did not have lights on the bottom around it. It was just the light was only in that dome. It was almost like they were dogfighting is the word that we used. Yep. And then it just kind of sent that thing down.
Yeah.
And that to me is that space wars. Is that a spiritual type of thing? Are they using these drones to try to figure out what these things are or do something with them?
Yeah.
The Project Blue Wave always comes to mind. I don't know. And there's too many people high up that you would think would be absolutely in the know. They are claiming they don't know.
Somebody has to.
Well, yeah. I think there's a very few that are actually privy to what's the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
What they're being told.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
Well, and then I do want to bring up, because this kind of came on to me last night. We were talking about all this, and I was like, wait a minute. Because I was at the Joe Rogan thing you sent me, and it was like, the guy that was the military, he said, we've been seeing a lot of this for at least for the last 3 years.
3 years.
Right. And then a light bulb, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Now, yes, there's been different things for many years, many years. I mean, UFO sightings, different things like that. There's been a lot of different things. Was CERN. And guys, y'all remember, because I've talked about several times on my channel, it was like 2021, 2022. They opened up CERN. And I went and looked it up to double check myself.
Yeah.
And it was, it was released, but it said there was a portal. There was this dimension thing that they were messing with. You remember? There was this. Now, if you regularly Google it, they're going to debunk all that. But there was this thing that CERN had opened, and it was around that time frame.
Okay.
And I think it was, and then I saw also even Elon himself, and this is in quotations.
Come on, Casey.
Elon himself, and said CERN's large Hadron Collider, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
These in quotations. Elon said it is a demonic technology they're messing with and will not be able to close.
And the Neuralink isn't? Oh my God.
Okay. And that was with CERN. And so it was about 2021, 22 when this huge thing was opened. Now, yes, CERN's been around since is it the 60s or something? But they were opening that thing, and I remember because this is actually 3 years I've been on, and I was on as a creator when they did that. They opened up that, because I was like, why are what are they? They're messing with some demonic stuff, and a lot of people were talking about they were messing with some spiritual demonic entities, portal stuff.
Yeah. Anybody
connected to that? I don't know.
Anybody who's questioning CERN, look on YouTube and find the CERN opening ceremony, and just watch it for like 10, 15 minutes.
The whole ceremony was insane. You better pray before you watch it, though, because that was great.
Yes.
I've seen it. I'm serious. You got to be careful what you allow to come in. I'm just saying. But that was so, that's, me with my pegboards. Because I'm not just blindly or whatever. I want to pick things apart. I want to know. I don't just take things at face value. I just don't. So that was something else that came up about all this in my mind. I was like, is it connected to that?
Yeah, for me, CERN, the whole and who is that guy? Lou Elizondo. I can't pronounce the new UFO guy with the little beard. He's been doing all the briefings. He's been doing all the talking.
Right. I don't know his name.
Yeah, Lou Elizondo or something like that. He described a propulsion system for some of these UAPs, and what he was talking about was actually them interdimensional travel, changing frequencies, dropping out of our physical reality to move. And CERN, I'm just throwing this out here, but for me, CERN, the goal of CERN was to find the fabric of our reality and to poke a hole in it and to see what it's made of. So you can see.
Because they were talking about going into different levels of dimensions and all that. I know this is deep, guys. I'm sorry, I bring snacks for this rabbit hole. But I mean, seriously, I'm not making this stuff up. You can look it all over. And they're not trying to hide these things anymore.
No, they're not.
And speaking of not hiding and all this nonsense that's going on, Pope Francis, the Vatican are Satanists. But anyways, moving along. He put out a thing. Pope Francis put out something that he said and I don't know a lot about all these things that he does or what it is, but he said he was going to open the 5th sacred portal on Christmas Eve.
And
what is that?
Maybe the UAPs know, and that's why they're here. I don't know.
There's something. And why would somebody that's supposed to be like, as they claim of Christian faith, they claim, I must say that lightly, they're opening that and they're doing that. What is he even talking about that would be on any kind of Christianity level that you're messing and opening things like that? What is that?
There's so many. Look, there are so many different ways you can go with this. Seriously, because even the Bible itself describes the war between the fallen angels and the angels.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's more than evident that angelic beings, whether demonic or good or whatever, they have to reside on a different frequency.
Yeah.
So wars. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it almost seems like we're kind of tiptoeing back into console, that whole little deal, right when we're looking at the possibility of the MLTV, of the new world, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of restructuring of the entire global economy. All these major cataclysmic events we're about to head into them now, and now we've got all this other stuff.
Well, the timing of everything is not coincidental. Okay, the timing of all the things that their agenda plan, they have a time frame. They have a goal, a time frame of that. And when things are happening, that is all intertwined and connected. What's going on?
I said that time frame. I never thought about that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I mean, so why do they have? What is the meaning behind that? Because that's connected. There's so much we will never know. But I think there is a point of there's that open-mindedness, because we live in such a society that everything is, no, you can't. No, you can't. No, that doesn't happen. No, it doesn't. And I'm like, but biblically it does. And if you are of faith and you know God's word and you know what it says is happening at the end and you're in his word, you can be in awe. You can be, this is so surreal, but at the same time, none of this should be a surprise, because instead it was going to happen.
Casey, the Nephilim came down and took wives and had kids. Giants.
That is true. I mean, that is biblically sound, and the fallen angels, and that's why I lean towards the orbs and stuff. That it has to do with some type of spiritual realm of something. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the mix of something, and this is what's changed my preparedness, the prepping.
Yeah.
It was always water purification, food preservation.
Food on the ground. If you're coming to this, it was always like that. And then Joshua disappointed me, and Huckleberry and I've talked about this. December 15th is when this happened. 5-something in the morning. It's like, how do you prepare for something like that? How do you prepare for that type of stuff in the sky? Huckleberry and I've been talking about that every day since that.
I got something that okay, those Mylar blankets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a couple of those.
Maybe that'll work. I don't know.
I mean, and I understand the skeptics about it. I do. I was one of them. But you remember when I told you remember you asked me on the phone that morning. We were talking to you coming home. We were driving, and because we had to tell you about it. And he was like,
Yeah,
"This is Josh's area, man. What is it doing over here?"
yeah,
And there was that. I
yeah,
don't know. There was that thing that it just kind of took us back on like we think that we know and we know
yeah.
what we're going to prepare for and we know what type of things to look for. You know, you don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do with something like that.
Seriously, yeah, yeah. I
And
don't
we
know.
don't know. Is that good or evil? Is that good or bad?
No, it has to. It
It's
has to
our
be good.
intentions.
It
You
has
know.
to be good. And I'm gonna tell you, for anybody that's like, and I know the preparedness community. Anybody that's in this, I'm not gonna lie to you. I seriously do believe that there's a reason that we feel like we need to really be preparing for something that's coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell you why or what, but because there's so many people who don't care.
Right.
Life will go on the same as it always has. Da, da, da. But for whatever reason, us in this community, we feel like we need to prepare for something that's coming.
Right.
I think it's more than just a feeling. I think
Well, I
it's
think that God gives us that discernment, and He will kind of, hey, I give you that hint. I do have faith, and we're both faith. Josh and I are faith. For a long time. I think that we do have those things that's like, it's that feeling, and probably that Holy Spirit feeling, like, hey, you need to get ready. You need to do this.
seriously, and I can't shake it. No matter how much I try to like find other things to like push preparedness out of the picture, working on the
It'll
car,
always come back.
it does.
Right.
Like I said, out of the blue today, I'm on Amazon and I'm looking for gifts for people, and I'm like, oh, I really do need these cut heat resistant sleeves for some reason. I don't
Right.
know why, but
Well, if it was laid on you, never know.
maybe I'm kitted out running through the woods trying to get away from the guillotines and surviving. And I don't know. I don't know.
I know. And I mean, I don't know. I think we're still kind of that mesmerized and in shock that something like that happened.
Yeah.
And guys, I was on the fence. I was like, I don't get up. Do I get up here and say anything about that? Because it's so surreal and crazy. You're like, come on. And Huckleberry was really. He was. Remember, he was talking. He was trying to debunk it. He was like, He's
Yeah,
like, I can find nothing
he was.
to debunk what and he was. And I
He
was like,
was.
but I truly had no. I had no. That is not a word. That is not a phrase I ever thought was going to come out of my mouth in my lifetime. Oh my gosh, that's a UFO.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a hesitation to even think, well, what is that? I think when we were talking about it, I think it was between. It wasn't. I mean, it was not just over the treetops.
That's
It
wild.
seemed closer than what the drone was. So we could clearly make it out. Plus, it was a full moon, and
Yeah.
that light from that dome, it didn't project out, but you could see what it was sitting on top of.
That's wild.
The
Seriously.
movement alone was like nothing moves like this.
See, and a lot of people too. So I watch a lot of stuff on UFOs because I've never seen one, but I want to. And they're like, you don't understand. Something from someplace else is going to be so different. It's not going to move the same way we move.
Right.
The colors, the sounds, they're not going to be the same as what we're accustomed to on this planet. So when you say that light is something you've never seen,
Yeah.
yeah, I really listen when you say it didn't move the same way as anything we would have would move. It's gonna be something different. They
Right.
don't yeah, they aren't gonna think, gas powered propulsion, go to this point to this point. They might say, okay, we start here and we zap out and then we end here or something
Right.
crazy. So yeah,
And
man.
because we were, myself and Huckleberry and our daughter were all trying to think we were trying to describe it like. Is there anything you can compare it to? And all of us were the same thing. I don't know. And there was no. I do want to say because this is something we had been asked also was we didn't see any exhaust
Ah,
or chemtrails or contrails. We didn't see anything coming from underneath it.
yeah.
It you would almost expect to see something moving like that and the way it was
Right.
going if it was something underwater
Okay.
because
Uh,
it was almost like because there's no propellers, there's no what we know deemed of what things are in the sky, how they keep their stuff up.
right.
it was just like, we couldn't even comprehend it makes sense on how is this thing functioning and staying up and
That's
moving.
crazy.
It's crazy. I hope. Please, Lord, let Josh see one. He'll
I
be
know.
mad at me forever, guys.
Please. Hey, they say everything happens for a reason.
The timing, the perfect timing of, because we were actually running late that morning.
Okay.
The perfect timing of when we left.
Oh,
No, I'm
yeah.
sorry, Josh. I'm sorry, Josh.
I really do.
I should have told him to go your way.
Yeah. Go check that out.
It was the perfect timing, and I would say it was total from when I first saw it until it zoomed and it was out of sight. 30 seconds.
Really? Okay.
The total.
The whole thing. Yeah.
The whole thing was like 30 seconds. But we got a very clear, because when it was kind of zooming around, it wasn't anything that was like, it's how you see something move so fast and it looks blurry. It didn't look like that. It didn't look blurry, but it was so smooth and quick in all the directions. It was like 5 different directions, like boom, boom, boom. And then it kind of went underneath, like where the moon kind of was, and came on the other side, this where it was glowing.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was about the time Huckleberry saw it.
Gotcha.
And then it kind of stayed stationary for a minute, and it was like went right past us.
Really?
I mean, it was the weirdest thing. And we were all kind of like, did we really just see that? Did that really just happen? I mean, we were really, and still to this day, we're like that.
Yeah.
I know, guys. Sorry. See, I go away and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not out here doing content. And then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I need to talk about this.
UFO.
Something like this happens.
Saw some aliens.
And I wasn't overly like, I need to get up here and talk about that these drones were over here out in these rural areas. I mean, I told you.
Yeah, once you guys told me, I was like, yeah.
And we sent pictures. Huckleberry was taking the pictures. He's the one that sent them and stuff like that. And but it wasn't something like I felt the need to get up here and do this. It kind of just was like, this is going, but it was before the craze of it kind of got really bad. Now I hear a lot of people I know personally, we know, and family members are saying, and there are different areas, they're seeing these drones. They're seeing these drones all the time. They're seeing them at night at different places. And like I said, now when we saw the drone thing, it was by itself. Yeah. And that probably maybe still was government something surveilling these areas. So I don't know.
What do you make of the FAA lights, the red and green? Well,
those are on drones. I think they have to have those lights. I think that also tells the others, hey, I'm one of you, don't take me out. That tells us, don't take me out. Gotcha. And like I said, the UFO thing had no lights on the bottom. It had no lights around it. It was just that dome sitting on that saucer. I know that cliche, a flying saucer, but that's how it looked. And but the drones, and we have seen a drone at night, and it did have those lights on them. Okay. The one we saw during the day, we didn't see any lights. We just saw it was this big, humongous white drone, and it was flying like a grid. It would go out of flight and it would come over just a little bit and come back and go. It was like that. That's why I was like, they're surveilling these areas. They're taking imaging completely, and that's probably what they were doing. I don't know.
Do you think there's a nuclear threat?
No.
A dirty bomb type threat?
I don't think that. I personally don't. Nothing adds up for what people in the military have done that said, that's not how we do this. This isn't the proper operation. How I feel like the heat was and again, this is my opinion, and I welcome all other opinions. I'm not trying to convince anyone to think or feel the way I do about any of these things.
Right.
I feel like the heat was coming so much from the public to say, I want answers, or I'm going to start taking these things out about these drones. We don't know if we're safe. My family's safe. What is going on? Why isn't anybody telling us?
Yeah.
Nobody knows who they are. Then why are y'all leaving them here? It felt like it was something to throw out, so they would say they're not a threat to y'all, but they're trying to keep you safe because they're searching out this thing. Right. That's how I feel about it. But no, I do not think that that's the case.
President-elect Trump said he's not traveling. He's not going to bed.
Yeah, he canceled his trip, and he said they were around his home again. I will throw this out. This is just me, and I've told you this. I said one of my, dare I say, my big fears about things is bioweapons. It is,
Yes.
guys. It is. And not all of them. And not the scare tactics when they're in here talking about the get this because of when they truly drop that. I had said long before this came up, and when there was a drone activity, and they would use those for even when we were seeing them overseas, they were using them for military maneuver purposes. Would they use that for bioweapon stuff?
Yeah.
And I still worry about. I worry more about that than I do that what they claim they're searching out. Again, that's just my opinion.
And they've shown pictures of some of these drones like dropping like contrails and stuff. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's just been wild. You really don't know what to believe and what not to believe. But
well, aren't we in that times of Noah? Aren't we going? We're biblically. Yeah. Let's go to biblically. We are in that time where there's going to be a great deception.
Yes.
There's going to be that time of confusion. And that's why it's so important to pray for deception and
it is
just saying in God's word about things, because there is going to be a lot of deception and confusion in these times.
Yeah. And being somewhat prepared to deal with any situation that comes your way, even if it's just being spiritually prepared. And the only thing that you can do is pray. There's nothing you can do physically to defend against whatever this thing might be except to pray. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that we didn't feel scared. Because, I mean, when you see those things and they would reenact, I always think about Unsolved Mysteries. You see them, and I'd be like, I'd be scared to death that thing was on top of me and doing like that.
Yeah.
But we didn't feel scared. I think maybe we didn't have time. We were just just kind of mesmerized, that in awe of shock and awe of I have no doubt what this is, and I cannot comprehend this is really going on. But we didn't feel scared. But I tell you what, the like hour and a half left we have of dark time, and it was like an hour after that we were coming up on another military base we had to pass through. I was like, we were watching.
Yeah.
Hey. And we probably never will see anything else like that again.
Hey, you aren't missing any time, are you? No bruises.
What now?
You aren't missing any time, are you? No bruises.
You want to ask if I was abducted? No, I
wasn't. No bruises.
No bruises. No weird feeling or marks or anything. No.
Yeah, no implants.
No, I mean, and there were some other cars coming up on this bridge. I'm like, I wonder if they saw it.
Yeah.
Not many, because it was 5:14 in the morning. 5:14 is when it happened, and I was like, I wonder if anybody else saw it, but. And I remember I was joking with Huckleberry, and I was like, well, I hope it saw us too, so it knows we're real. So we were doing this whole joke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what it was looking. I have,
I'm listening.
Of course, there's so much you have to filter through, because there's so much technology, there's so much AI, there's so you don't know. You have to really be careful what you're viewing and saying. Oh, I saw this video and it showed this, but then there is some military like Coast Guard and different things that said, we're out here. And there was some Navy guy I saw, and they said this thing, it was not a drone. It looked like a UFO, UAP they were using. It came up out of the ocean, and we were out here on patrol.
Apparently, a lot of them come out of the ocean. Apparently.
Right.
Like the abyss or something.
Well, what does it say in the Bible about things coming up out of the ocean? It says it in there. I can't remember that.
Something about the Leviathan or something.
Huh?
You told me something about the Leviathan or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember the verse or the chapter and stuff it's in, but it does talk about that stuff coming up out of the ocean.
It's wild, man.
It is. And I don't know if y'all saw this evening. I don't even remember if I mentioned this or not, because I have it down here, Spy Balloons. It was about an hour or so before I came on here with Josh. I was like, I just saw a report. They said that they've spotted these spy balloons, and they're over New Jersey, and it was this evening. Really? So what is that? Why are those back? We still don't know. This is what my thing is across America. Why are we allowing so much stuff in our airspace that we can't? Oh, we're not sure, but it's not dangerous. Why would we ever allow any of that to come over us, and they're not taking care of it?
I got one for you too.
What's that?
Why hasn't any other countries, because this thing is global, but why hasn't any other country, it's like we're isolated to New York and New Jersey. That's what they want us to focus on.
Right.
Why hasn't any of the countries, allies or whatever, came out and said, we're having the same thing, we're having the same issues? It's seriously, it's like nobody wants to talk about this. Just like our government didn't want to admit that there are things going on.
Right.
Nobody in the entire planet wants to admit. No one has stepped up and said, "Yeah, we're having the same issue. Let's figure out what this is." Nobody wants to touch this because it seems too hot for anybody to talk about.
Yeah.
China,
I think, are they scared to talk about it? Like, hey, we
yeah,
cannot cross this line and bring this up. Do they
yeah.
know it's a spiritual thing they can't mess with? Are we talking about drones or UFOs? Or, I mean, yeah, or is it the whole thing? And then I just feel like the drones have got to be connected some way with the UFO or pickup sky activity at this point.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
are they using that to try to track them or get surveillance? Because none of these things that they're talking about
Yeah.
are showing up on radar. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's these military bases that are coming forward and saying that when these drone things are over them around, it has a jamming device.
This is our military.
Right.
Yeah. This is our last line of defense.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
Yeah.
so many questions, guys, and they'll never tell us the truth. They'll give you some breadcrumbs to pacify you with something just to y'all, okay, quiet down, because they're going to start taking these things out, or they're going to get civil unrest. People are going to get in a panic and they're going to lose control. That's why I think what they said was just to do that.
Yeah. I think before they ever admit that there are beings here from wherever, interdimensional, another galaxy, whatever, before that happens, they'll collapse everything. They will start World War III, shut down all communications, so nobody can talk to anybody, and it'll just be whatever it's going to be.
And I still truly feel they will use the Project Bluebeam. The aliens took them to explain why millions of people are all of a sudden gone.
Oh, sounds like the rapture. Yeah.
Yeah. I think because they're going to set stage for those things. They don't know when it's coming, but they still know that the signs and the prophecies are lining up.
Hey, we're headed for a lot of stuff these next few years. A lot of things are supposed to happen. Seriously.
Yeah. That's why I think I said that thing. I was like, you prepare for the unexpected.
Yes.
Because at this point, when it's overhead like that, and when we say overhead, this isn't like World War I and World War II and different things like that, Vietnam, anything like that, where
the Foo Fighters,
where there's bombers and stuff, and you prepare for different things like that. This is totally different. That you don't.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for those type of things?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can't. It's so much out of our control. That's why I don't understand that people don't have faith to get through those things.
Yeah. Physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Yeah. Josh and I've been saying it for 3 years. You better be spiritually prepared first.
Seriously. Yeah. I think there really will come a time where the 556 ain't gonna cut it. And what do I do next?
Yeah.
Get those knees and pray. Yeah. Jesus.
But I can tell you, all of y'all, between now and whenever, Josh is still gonna be bitter that he didn't see a UFO.
I am. No, seriously. There will always be a small part of me until I see something.
He go, please, Lord, send him something.
Yes, that suffices. Yeah, I'm always gonna be a little bit bitter. I
know, and that wasn't even my niche about ever on my radar about anything. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Sorry to drop that, guys. I've been gone, and I mean, this is what happens. You get off YouTube streets, and you see things. Maybe all of y'all should for a little bit.
Let's throw a little clarification out there, though. So, Casey, you did not see little green men.
No.
You did not see, what else is there out there? You did not see, you didn't see aliens.
I didn't see aliens. I didn't see anything that, like, I could see something inside that was quote unquote flying it.
We sound like the news.
It was just this light, this pulsating light. I mean, on this saucer. I did not see anything.
We sound like MSM right now. We sound like the news.
I didn't see anything. For my disclaimer. No, I didn't.
But you did see some form of a, what do we call it?
I mean, if I had, like I said, it just came out of my mouth. It was a UFO. And I hate it that I said that. I really do. Because it sounds such a, like, come on. Really? Did you? But as soon as I saw it, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. There was no waiting. Like, as soon as I saw it, it came out of my mouth. I did not, like, let me try to figure out what that is. Let me look at it. It was just that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah, just
And
there.
no, but no, I didn't see any little green people or anything.
Right. You saw a craft.
Yeah, and it was shaped and moved. What is described, you hear different ways of described, like that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's awesome.
Crazy time, crazy. I never thought something like that would happen to us. I really didn't.
It is. All right. Hey, are you gonna do this as a premiere? Or are you gonna just drop it as a video?
I'm dropping this joker. I'll try to be
You
in
should
shape.
do it as a premiere. Then you could.
He says this, but here
Then
he
you can
is.
talk to all the people and send emojis and comments and yeah.
Josh just wants me to make him a shirt, and he wants it signed by the aliens. The UFO stance.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna meet the aliens one day. I don't know.
They may be bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man. All right. What do you got coming up? Anything else? Any next videos?
Obviously, I need to stay gone for a while and see what exciting happens, and I can come in, and, drop a banger about something. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll just see what life brings.
I got the cartels on my mind. I don't know why. There's a lot of up and coming. Look, January 20th is coming, Casey.
Yeah, do you know all that stuff that Trump was joking about? That he was like, "We'll make Canada and Mexico the 51st and 52nd state." But I'm like, but look, Trudeau and then his vice president, they are stepping down. I know she stepped down. All of a sudden, I'm like,
hey, yeah, there's a lot coming down the pike. So I'm gonna try to do another video on the cartels. I did one, but the audio was crap.
Yeah, you told me your audio was all messed up.
Yeah, so the battle with the cartels, man, it's gonna be interesting. Getting rid of federal agencies, deportations. It's not just this UAP.
I think they're going on right here in December. Let's just talk about the skies or the hot topic for December. And I'm like, do you know what January is going to bring? I mean, I'm just kind of like everybody, every week to week, I'm like, just buckle up because even for ourselves, it's something so crazy. And I mean, it wasn't a risk factor or anything like that, but it was so surreal. And I'm just like, week to week. Can you imagine what January, how it's going to be?
And look, and so a lot of the things that talked about being implemented, I'm like, no, they probably aren't going to be able to implement it that fast. No,
yeah,
it's going to happen. It is going to happen.
So, I think that's another thing because so much is happening so fast, rapidly. I think that certain things are going to come quicker than we think, and I think there's going to be some uproars about things.
Yeah.
Well, so, we always said it was going to be so much at one time was going to pop off. It wasn't just going to be one thing here or there. It was going to be everything.
Yeah. So prepare, still, fam, prepare. Look, I know a lot of people think that, snap the fingers, done. Everything goes back to the 80s, wonderful times. But with change, things probably will get better. But with change, there's still uncertainty. There's a lot of things that are uncertain. So,
and they remember they have to crash, and so much that this is what we're accustomed to or we're used to our lifestyles.
Yes.
They have to crash all the old to bring in new, whatever they want. And that is coming.
That's what we're preparing for.
And I think there's things that are going to crash us, the quote unquote old ways. They're going that we don't even think about. They're going to crash those things to bring in what they're new.
Yeah.
And who knows what Elon's got, his new stuff that he wants. Oh my. Oh.
Yeah, I know it. I know.
Do what you can, guys. Do what you can, but don't let it consume you, and don't live in fear. Don't live in fear, and don't forget to still live your life and find blessings and joy in every day. Because what's the point? What's the point of trying to survive if you're not doing that?
That's right. Seriously.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you, Casey.
Appreciate you, Josh.
We're gonna figure this thing out, man, one way or another.
You guys take care. We appreciate you, and we'll be pumping these type of.
You can do this as a premiere. I'm just saying.
No, I gotta go. You see what I gotta put up with all the time? But you think he's going to? Josh, where's your premieres?
What do you mean?
Crickets? That was crickets. Did y'all hear that?
What do you mean?
Yeah. See. Y'all get on it. What did he say the other day? He said, "Oh, she's been MIA. Y'all get her. Y'all get him. Tell him to do it from here."
Get her. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm busy with my UFOs, y'all. I don't have time for
He's
that.
putting out videos every day, every other day.
I will put it out when I get a download, sir.
All right. Okay. All right.
We're out of here.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Y'all be blessed.